You're right. You've been saying the job market is tough, and it's not your imagination. And today we have the actual numbers to prove it. And unfortunately, things in the jobs market may be getting worse. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics released the jobs report for the month of August this morning, and things are not great. Not only did the unemployment rate go up to a level we haven't seen since 2021, but for the first time in almost 5 years, the report shows we lost jobs. Plus, the tariffs are absolutely showing up again in this report, and not in the way President Trump wants to see. In fact, it's the opposite of his entire tariff goal. But the upside of this report may be that the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates later this month. So let's talk about the numbers. First, according to the BLS report, in the month of August, employers added 22,000 jobs. That is much lower than the expectation and much lower than the rate we were seeing just last year. This is the chart of jobs added to U.S. employer payrolls starting January of 2024 all the way to August of 2025. Here's that 22,000 jobs added that I was just talking about. Now, you can see generally from January of 2024, sort of the jobs market is chugging along pretty great. And then right there, it starts to go down. So what happened here? Well, in April of 2025, April 2nd to be exact, President Trump announced his tariff policy. He said it was Liberation Day. And then in May, which is right there, that was the first jobs report after that announcement. But what's probably most concerning to you when you just look at this chart is what's happening right there. What is that red thing? That is June of 2025, where we saw 13,000 jobs lost in the U.S. economy. That is the first time we have seen jobs lost since 2020. Now, they rebounded here in July to 79,000 jobs added. But then, as I just reported, in August, they dropped back down to 22,000 jobs. So I want to take a closer look at these last 6 months, because you never want to take just 1 month and freak out over it. You want to sort of look at the totality. Now, I want to point out that the number for June and the number for July were both revised in today's Bureau of Labor Statistics report. It is very important to understand that revisions are not bad. Revisions just mean that more data has come into the U.S. government from American employers, which then they can add and make these totals as accurate as possible. And it's also important for you to know that all of these reports, when they are initially released, are all estimates. They are estimated numbers until the revisions come in. Okay, now that we got that clear, let's talk about the revisions from June and July. Initially, last month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said that in the month of June, the U.S. economy only added 14,000 jobs. Well, now that more data has come in, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is saying, nope, we actually lost 13,000 jobs in the month of June. Also, because more data has come in, originally, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said in July, we gained 73,000 jobs. But now they're saying, because of that new data, nope, we actually gained 79,000 jobs. Now keep in mind that this is the first BLS jobs report since President Trump fired the last BLS administrator. So the guy behind this is President Trump's interim administrator. This is his guy. So now let's talk about the unemployment rate. You can see right there, it is now at 4.3%. We have not seen an unemployment rate that high since right here, which is October of 2021. So the question is, where are those jobs being lost? Well, according to today's report, 15,000 government jobs were lost, which is still part of the fallout from those DOGE cuts. And here's where we need to think about the tariffs. In August, according to the report, the U.S. economy lost 12,000 jobs in wholesale trade and also lost another 12,000 manufacturing jobs, bringing the total manufacturing job loss in 2025 to 78,000. President Trump has said repeatedly the point of his tariffs is to bring manufacturing back to the United States so we can build things in America again. Well, these numbers are showing that's not happening. In fact, it's the opposite. We are losing manufacturing jobs. And prices are going up, which we also know is a fact based on the latest inflation report. Now, these numbers prove that the job market is absolutely losing steam and unemployment is starting to move in the wrong direction, up. But inflation is also moving in the wrong direction. It's going up too. So this makes the Federal Reserve's job very complicated. In an ideal world, the Fed would cut interest rates when the job market is holding steady and inflation is trending down. But instead, what we have is the jobs market trending down and inflation trending up. So the Fed has to make a choice here, either keep interest rates steady and risk more people losing their jobs and perhaps getting inflation to come down to their target rate of 2%, or cut interest rates now in the hopes of preventing even more job loss, but run the risk of inflation going up even more. Now, most experts believe the Fed will cut interest rates at their meeting on September 17th, but the question is by how much? So if you want to read the jobs report for yourself, I'm going to email it out to you in my Facts HQ email tonight, so make sure you sign yourself up.